These are the nights that the early edge was invented for. What's good, everybody? Welcome in to your sports betting brand of record. We are powered by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not even close. Yes, COVID has ravaged the NFL, but it has not ravaged my team. It has not ravaged my crew. And we're here today. If you're brand new to the brand, first of all, welcome. I don't care who you are, where you are, what you are welcome here. Sides, totals, props. We're going to talk about it all over the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour. Also, we're going to have our Van Jefferson Memorial pick tonight. We've got a brand new donkey parlay that's going to come your way around 8 o'clock Eastern time or so. And then, of course, all of our best bets that we're going to lock in on what should be a tremendous game tonight, a battle for first in the AFC West. We got the 9-4 visiting Kansas City Chiefs laying 3, taking on the LA Chargers, hence the Chiefs shirt. The LA hat. There is no bias here. I can't say the same for the stars of my show. Let's bring him in right now. And when a show is this big, when a game is this big, I got to bring in all my all-stars, which is exactly what I have done, starting right below me. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level, Mikey M. Squared. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Good evening, fellas. And you're right. No bias here. I just have the absolute luxury of being a fan of the best team in the NFL. There's no bias here. It's the math truly supports it in the model for me now and everyone again. You know, we had a little stretch that wasn't so pretty, but it's right back to where it was to start the season. And I couldn't be happier about it.
It's strictly what the Chiefs do. It is, Mikey. And all you're doing is reporting the facts from your model. That's all you're trying to do. Now, I hope you haven't been bothered today by the man who is 8 floors below you. Also live from Nashville, Tennessee. Dial up. What's good?
Hey, what's good, everybody? Yeah, we put out the mop signs and everything, making sure that M Squared or the rest of his ilk didn't, slip on the floor. So I hope everybody's okay there. Look, you know what? I've got 2 overs in the game tonight. So that's how fired up I am for it. It's going to be a good one.
Can you spell ilk?
No chance.
I didn't think so. All right, he is the best looking man at the early edge and in our brand. We call him Sia. You can call him a 2-time champ of the WVJM. What's good, Sia?
Speaking of the WWE, I think I'm going to answer all questions tonight by beginning with Survey Says, because for the first time ever, I saw your clip of you on the Family Feud taking it down in fast money with, I think, was some of your WWE co-hosts.
Yes.
It was a super exciting clip, by the way. So Survey Says this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I was on there with a little movie star called Batista. He's in a little movie called Guardians of the Galaxy. You may have heard of Ric Flair. He was there too. So just a couple of stars that I hung out with back in the day. No big deal. And yes, we did win fast money. If you haven't seen it, AB made sure to post it on his feed. You can go to his feed and watch it. I may have retweeted it too. All right. Now, I have intentionally left this man to last because he is our secret sauce. He is the prop king. Don't forget, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time, me and this guy, we bring it down on Fridays. Alex, Prop Stars, good evening.
What's good, Coach? Gentlemen, great to see you. Excuse me, sorry for the raspiness. Yeah, I'm super excited for this game. It feels like Christmas Eve having the Chiefs and the Chargers, 2 high-scoring, explosive offenses. I like a ton of props in this game. I am super pumped.
And we're going to leave extra time for props tonight, but we've got to hit on the storylines first. So, Mikey, I'm going to start with you because COVID has really been the frontline story the entire day across the NFL. Baker Mayfield's pissed off. The Browns are a mess. The Raiders flipped 10 points in their spread. We have COVID issues tonight as well. Chris Jones. And then the rookie left tackle for the Chargers is also out, and his name is befudding me. Sorry, Rashawn Slater is his name. How big of a deal, if at all, do you think this is for either team tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a big deal for both teams. I would say it's a pretty big deal on the Chargers side, too, with Austin Eckler also being banged up a little bit. I think the combination of those two things has about the same impact that Jones does. I mean, Jones definitely has an impact. Much better when they're not trying to use them on the outside. So, the impact will be felt. I think the defense overall is still playing a lot better. But based on those two injuries, I really think, situations, whatever you want to call them, I think that it's really pretty equal as terms of the loss for both sides here.
Okay, fair enough. Let me come to you, AB, because we've got the Chiefs are a team that started off with 3-4. They've now won 6 in a row. They're 9-4, and what's hard to believe is that if they win tonight, they'll be the first team in the AFC to reach 10 wins. How impressed have you been with what the Chiefs have done, including the last 3 weeks? Their defense allowed 9 points in each game only.
It's unbelievable. I mean, what Steve Spagnuolo has done with his defense is fantastic. And it's actually the defense that's been leading this team. Not that anything negative against the offense, but the defense has scored touchdowns in 2 straight games. They've been leaving the offense with unbelievable field position. And everybody is really just kind of throttling with it, right? So, I mean, the Chiefs and the Patriots are playing the most balanced football in the NFL right now. So, yeah, I mean, you just have to be thrilled at the turnaround the Chiefs have made.
I'm so glad you used the B word, balance, for Kansas City, because, see, if we go to the other side of the football, last week a lot of the so-called smart people said, hey, the Chargers have to start throwing the ball downfield. Give their big wide receivers a chance to catch the ball in Cincinnati. And that's exactly what they did. Do you see the same kind of game script tonight to give those big wide receivers a chance?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Justin Herbert's going to have a good day, particularly with some of the injuries that we noted, Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed in the secondary. But honestly, I think, if they can establish the run, I think that's a path as well. But yeah, I do think Herbert's going to be able to throw it down the field a little bit. And I say that particularly because of the loss of Chris Jones. They still have some really good edge rushers, Frank Clark notably. But I think the Chris Jones thing is a pretty big deal. So I think Justin Herbert's going to have a pretty good day.
And I have a gut feeling one of us is on an over prop for Justin Herbert tonight, but we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes because, Alex, I got to come to you because with all of these changes and all of these COVID issues, I know that you spend a lot of time in the lab. How did it affect – you said you have a lot of props that you like tonight. How did the losses affect your preparation?
Yeah, it had a significant impact. Fortunately, Chris Jones plays on defense and then offensive line. While it makes an impact, it's not like losing an offensive player who, you suddenly have to prepare a lot more drastically for. So, yeah, it absolutely factors in to the plays. Slater is one of the best offensive tackles as a rookie. He's having one of the historically great seasons as a tackle in NFL history. So, yeah, that's a massive loss, especially considering some of the problems the Chargers were having last year, particularly on the offensive line, which would have prompted them to draft him. So, yeah, I'm expecting it to be a significant impact. But, yeah, as far as the props are concerned, I do think Los Angeles is going to continue to be aggressive, and that's kind of the MO of the Chiefs as well. So I'm expecting a lot of things from these teams.
Alex, allow me on behalf of AB to apologize to you and how serious you take your props information because he's over here trying to cash tickets from the people in the chat. Said, hey, take 2 drinks while he talks. Just an idiot. You're such an idiot, but you're our idiot. You're our idiot. All right, so here's the deal. Let's get into our best bets because we have crossed the bottom of the hour, and then we'll get right into the props, and that's where there are so many props tonight that I want to talk about. If you have a prop that you're interested in, drop it into the chat. Leave the number, meaning the juice, because it's very, very important to my guys. And then leave your Twitter handle as well. Also, a little added bonus for you. For every 100 likes, pound that like button for me. The jeweler's just going to drop a one-time code into the feed. And that one-time code is good for, wait for it, a year-long membership to SportsLine. So if we get to 900 likes, we'll drop 900 codes in, one time only. First person to use them gets that membership. All right, let's jump into it. Best bets today for this game. Raise your hand if you would like to go first tonight. Who would like to go first? Mikey, strike the chord. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, only one best bet for me tonight. It's Travis Kelsey over 66.5 receiving yards. I would play it up to 70.5, 71 if you want to. Model has it at 74.6. I think it's a really, really, really strong bounce back spot for him. Good get right spot. I like the way that the Chargers want to defend this team. They know we want to contain and limit the big play to guys like Tyreek Hill, Byron Pringle, Mecole Hardman. We want to throw underneath Travis Kelsey. They are a little bit of a run funnel. They're going to let them run a little bit, but having Clyde Edwards-Helaire back in there and the combination of shutting down the deep ball and the deep threat, I think it opens up things for Travis Kelsey, who definitely wants to get on the right page. Expect a much more concerted effort from all of them here, but I expect a lot of targets in Kelsey's direction, especially as this game gets more competitive deeper into the game. But I do think this number hits before halftime.
Now, this is the first time. History is going to be made here on the show. This is the first time in the history of the early edge that three of my guys are on the same play. I don't know if I feel good about that, or I don't know if that scares the heck out of me. But see, as I come to you and I look at what Travis Kelsey, and just to play devil's advocate here, okay, here is what his numbers were during their 3 and 4 start. He averaged 9.3 targets, 6.4 catches, and 76 yards per game, okay? In the last 6 games, all wins by the Chiefs, Kelsey 7.3 targets, 2 less per game, 4.7 catches, 2 less per game, 57 yards per game, 20 yards less per game. Just playing devil's advocate. Why are you backing this play with Mikey and with AB?
Well, it kind of depends on what sample size you want to go with. First of all, what you're talking about the last 6 games, a lot of it was affected by the last game where he only had 4 targets and it was a really pedestrian game. You could say the same about the game before, but he actually had 8 targets in that game. He just happened to be inefficient. However, if you are willing to dismiss the last 2 games, which by the way were pretty much dictated by game script, where the Kansas City Chiefs defense was jumping all over the offense, and it just became a game where you didn't necessarily need to have the back and forth with the passing game. The 3 games prior to those, the last 2, 8 targets, 10 targets, and 8 targets. In all 3 of those games, he actually surpassed the yardage mark that he stuck with this week. In my case, 67.5 yards. So my point is, the sample size, if you just broaden it a little bit, at least from a target standpoint, he actually clips this number 3 out of the last 5 times. And so, yeah, it's a great bounce back spot. I think people think that Kelsey's having maybe a little bit worse of a season than he actually has. Don't get me wrong. It's been a bad season for him, but he's still getting a lot of the work. We just haven't seen it in a couple weeks, and we haven't seen him find the end zone. And so he hasn't flashed on our fantasy radars, for example. But honestly, this is a perfect setup with a back and forth game and a high total, 2 efficient offenses. This should be the one.
This should be the one. Before I come to you, AB, I know you don't have any best bets currently, Alex, but real quick, Patrick Mahomes over 18.5 rushing yards tonight. What do you like?
Yeah, I would tend to lean over on that. I do think the Los Angeles Chargers are run funnel. Sia mentioned it. It's true. They rank bottom last in rushing DVOA. They're inviting teams to run on them, both schematically and both because they aren't good against the run. So, yeah, I do think that kind of bleeds out to the quarterback as well. So, yeah, I would look over on Mahomes. I do think he's going to use his legs to generate some offense. I do want to touch on why I don't have any props in tonight's game. Yeah. It's because, particularly, I think it's a good point to make too. I know this game has been highly, highly bet on by the public, as much as almost any other primetime game this season. So what happens is, especially in a primetime matchup, when you have 2 really good teams facing off, these props come out like 48 to 72 hours ago. And all the lines that are inefficient, in my opinion, mostly by the time we get to an hour before the game, especially when there's a lot of attention on a game between 2 really explosive, exciting teams, those lines go from inefficient to efficient by the time we're like an hour out from kickoff. So there were quite a few props that I did like, but just, yeah, as a result of all the focus and attention being on this one game and, yeah, it being a very, very enticing game with lots of potential offense, I feel like a lot of the inefficiencies became efficient over the course of the past 48 to 72 hours.
We say all the time, sometimes the best bets bet you that you don't make, and that's a perfect example of these lines tonight. See it quickly. Let me come back to you because you also have a play on the side in this game.
Yeah, I like the Chargers plus 3.5. It's actually teetering between 3.5 and 3. Just as this show has happened, I've seen it teeter back and forth a couple different ways. I just think 3.5 is too much. The Kansas City offense hasn't been very good. Are you smelling a showdown? Is that what that is? I don't know what that is.
Was I doing something? Well,
I thought maybe you were doing something.
I always do this with my hand while you're giving your takes. No, please finish, and then maybe I'll talk. Okay. So the point is 3.5 A is too much, and B, when you consider some of the injuries. Now I know the Chargers have injuries too, especially key ones that Eckler is banged up and Slater is out. But I think the Chris Jones thing is a pretty big impact. Chargers are at home. 3.5 is too much. I think Kansas City should win this game, but I don't think it's by more than 3. So I think this is a really nice number. I get the hook. Okay, so the book I have has it at 3. Here we go. The book I have. Well, hey, the Caesars has it at 3.
The book of Coach.
Does it not? Okay,
that's fair.
All right. Wait, yeah, I still have time. I'm gonna put a pin in it. Still have time, but I'll put a pin in it. All right, AB, but don't go anywhere. See ya. All right, AB. I see your plays on the screen. And obviously, Travis Kelsey, we're already in. But talk to me on Justin Herbert.
Yeah, so you take a look at the injuries tonight. M Square talked about it previously. I think NC as well. Chris Jones is going to have an effect on the Chargers offense. Also, Jarius Sneed being out is going to have a major effect on the Chiefs secondary. Plus, Charvarius Ward is playing, but was dealing with an illness today, was added to the injury report. So he's not 100%. So what you're going to see is a Chiefs defense that kind of has to make some decisions in this game. How aggressive are you going to be with the defensive line and the linebackers? Because the more aggressive that you are, the more of an island that you're going to leave that secondary on. So I think Justin Herbert is going to find himself in some nice situations. And if they could play the chess game here, they could do very well. Also, I'll say this. Justin Herbert's eclipsed this number in 3 of his last 4 games. The Chargers have scored 35-plus points in 2 straight and 3 of their last 4. So they're feeling it right now. Not to mention, lastly, this. The Chiefs line up in cover 1, 31%, against Justin Herbert in week 1 in their first matchup, okay? They line up in cover 1, 25% of their defensive snaps this season, the highest rate that their defense does. Justin Herbert against cover 1, he's pretty damn good. All right, he completed 10 of his 11 passes for 109 yards earlier this year. Against them, he has 5 touchdown passes against cover 1 defenses this year. So again, it's not something that he's had an issue with. Plus, the Chiefs defense, going to be a little banged up. So give me the Kelsey, give me Herbert.
Yeah, John in the chat while you were doing your dissertation said, "AB, the fries are burning."
Fries.
Says,
those waffle fries are good, by the way.
Rye says, "Coach, take the showdown so I can back Sia." Have my showdowns been that bad lately that I guess it's true? Well, I've been beating AB, and I still lost to him the last time. So, but at least it's on brand for you to have a quarterback prop. So, but at least you didn't do a kicker prop tonight. At least you didn't do a kicker prop, so I don't have.
I think someone on this full screen did do a kicker prop, Coach. Why don't you take a look to the bottom there and see that Jacob the Jeweler is playing Harrison Butker over 7.5 kicking points at Mr. Butt Kicker on Twitter. I believe that's his Twitter handle. You guys might notice I'm wearing the Carolina Panthers sweatshirt today because, as we all know, Harrison Butker picked up by the Chiefs off the Panthers practice squad after Butker lost his job to Graham Gano, and Panthers have kind of been in kicking hell, while Harrison Butker is arguably the second best kicker in the league after Justin Tucker. So let's give you some stats while I look it up as I locked my iPad. He's had at least 2 field goals in his past 6, okay, as the Chiefs have been on this incredible run. 5 of those past 6 games, the Chiefs have given him at least 2 touchdowns. So you throw 2 touchdowns in there, give him 2 TDs, kick the extra point. We're golden. And here's the other thing. 5 of those past 6 have been at Arrowhead Stadium. So we all know it's much easier to kick in December in Los Angeles under the roof as opposed to at Arrowhead Stadium, where they've got all kinds of winds, terrain to deal with. One of the only road game was at the Raiders. Chiefs gave him 5 extra points from 5 touchdowns, 2 field goals made.
Thank you, Chief.
All that to say, Harrison Butker over tonight. Let's get a showdown. All kinds of points for taking the kicker.
I feel like I'm being ribbed right now. Did you guys meet behind my back and said, "How can we drive Coach crazy tonight?" That's what I feel like you guys are doing to me. I feel like that. AB and Julie, you guys didn't call each other? You didn't call
Julie
each other?
he just dropped the big nugget, the 20-piece, baby.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that was the party platter right there is what that was.
That was something. Holy smokes. All right, we got it. We have a kicker prop. AB, you should be happy now. Harris Butker over 7.5 kicking. I don't even know how I missed that on the screen, to be honest with you. All right, those are our best bets for the night tonight. Now, if you have a prop, and I'm going to get into a bunch right now because even though they are efficient, there still can be some that do hit tonight. So if you have a prop you like, you've written down a few, we'll get right into it. A lot of people are interested. Mikey, I'm going to come to you first with Darrell Williams. His yardage prop is 17.5 receiving yards. His catch prop is over 2.5 in the receiving game. Do you like either one?
I lean towards the receiving game a little more, the reception number more than anything. I do like the over 2.5 on the reception number. So one thing I'm very interested here. It's either going to be him or a little bit of Derek Gore mixing in, but this projects as a spot where Clyde Edwards-Helaire might lose a little bit of, he had a much larger share kind of than we were anticipating over the last few weeks. We've seen this in years past when you get to a short week like this one here on a Thursday night, where the secondary, the backup running back takes a few extra snaps, a few extra carries, basically at least 1 to 1.5 extra drives or series. I expect that to happen for Darrell Williams. I also expect him to be out there if they get into any situation that becomes like a hurry up offense, whether they're trailing or not. He's someone that they put out there a lot. They use him in the goal line. They use him in some of the more obvious passing down situations. So I like the number on the reception total the most out of all of his props.
All right, write those down. Keep that in line. Don't forget, pound that like button. Every 100 likes, we're dropping a one-time year-long code into the feed. You got to pay attention to be on it first. Let me come to you, Alex. Mike Williams, a lot of people in the chat are interested in him tonight. They think he could be the 1A receiver. His yardage number is 54.5, but it's juiced all the way to minus 140.
Yeah, I'm bullish on Mike Williams. I'm a big fan of the guy. However, Keenan's had so much historical success against the Chiefs, coupled with the fact that they're not using Mike Williams the way that I feel like you can get the optimal usage out of him. They're primarily deploying him as a deep threat and just taking a couple deep shots, not really mixing him into the intermediate and the short passing game. We saw that early on in the season, and then we saw that massive uptick in production from Mike Williams, where he was, having 100-yard game after 100-yard game. It was very encouraging. I thought that was going to be a continuous theme throughout the course of the season. But yeah, just over the past 4 or 5 weeks, he has been kind of just relegated to more of just a primary deep threat role. I just think that until we see him starting to soak up some of those more high percentage targets, it's hard to trust him.
All right. Well, you heard Alex use the name Keenan Allen. 2 weeks ago in Cincinnati, he was dynamic. And then he gets put on the COVID list. He is back tonight. His number is 75.5, minus 104.
Yeah, I like, as does Chief. I like it. I think he's just such a target monster, and the Snead injury is going to help him specifically. Last 5 games, 8 targets, 10, 13, 11, 13. Especially the way the Chiefs are going to play D here, I think you're going to find a lot of the underneath stuff to Keenan Allen. So I guess I like the yardage prop. It's certainly not one of my plays. If I had to play it, I'd play the over. However, I'd probably be more interested in the receptions rather than the over on the yards.
Okay, very, very good. You mentioned Austin Eckler too. He is over 31.5. His numbers come way down, minus 140. AB?
Yeah, he's active tonight, but, as Mikey talked about earlier, he's been a little banged up, right? So you've got to pay attention to that. But with this offense and with the game script of how this one could go, they're going to need him, right? So if you look, we've got him projected at SportsLine at 46 yards receiving. We've got him projected at 56 yards rushing. So he's going to have a night. And unless he gets taken out of this game, I think that you have to play him, assuming he's going to get his full majority of plays. Also, I'll say this really quickly in terms of
hey, real quick. Hey, AB, yeah. I need you to run the show for 2 seconds. Got a minor emergency, and I'll be right back, okay?
I got you. So really quickly, guys. So with this Chargers offense, the last 2 weeks, the guy has been Jalen Guyton, right? Because you look at how the Chargers offense has been in terms of their wide receivers and quite frankly, dropping the ball. Plus, last week with Keenan Allen out, the last 2 weeks, Guyton has 7 targets for 7 receptions and 2 touchdowns. Hasn't dropped a ball, right? So I think that we're going to see a little bit out of him tonight. And if he continues to catch the ball, I would pay attention to him. So I'm not saying, everybody jump on Jalen Guyton props right now, but pay attention to that, because the last 2 weeks when a team and a quarterback that's looking for someone he can trust, yeah, he kind of found him. So yeah, they've got a lot of options, basically, is what I'm saying. There's a ton of weapons on this offense. Coach, good.
There really is. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, a lot of what we're looking at, when we look at the the way that the game is being portrayed tonight, Mikey, I'll come back to you, should be a lot of points. And so I gravitated towards the team totals tonight. And both teams are averaging 27 points a game. So the number for the Chiefs is 28, minus 132. The Chargers is only 24.5. If we think it's going to be a shootout, could we play both overs tonight?
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's going to be a shootout, I definitely don't hate getting to that point. I will say this one, we've seen a lot of movement on this one on the total. I think this thing's all the way up to 54. I believe it was 51 and a half. I mean, it's a pretty serious move through. You know, the numbers get less significant the higher they get, but it's been a pretty big move. So it really comes down to who you like there. I think that it's kind of fragile at this point. I actually lean towards the under now. At this point now at the new number at 54. It's a pretty big change between the two. So the thing to consider here, you know, either team with a lead, they're going to try to run the football. I think they're both going to try to run the football anyway also. So, you know, we've seen the Chiefs with those long sustained drives that take up half a quarter pretty frequently. Anytime those drives happen and stall in the red zone with a field goal, it's just a massive, massive hit to an over in a game like this. So I kind of like the jeweler. I actually like both of the kickers in this game. I'm featuring them heavily in daily fantasy contests as well. Yeah, I lean towards the under now. Obviously, it's a scary one to take because it's not going to shock anyone if this game is 34-31, something like that. But if you want to lean towards the over, it really depends on how much you like the Chargers. So I'm obviously on the Chiefs side of the game, and I've given their defense a lot of credit recently. So as of right now, I lean to the under at the new number. I also just want to caution, just because I now have value on it, you typically want to be a little skeptical of that situation. So like my sim number is 4.3 for the Chiefs, 51.5 on the total. That number on the total was mostly efficient when it opened. Now it's not. Now it indicates a clear play, but you need to be cautious on that when the market has moved this one, 3 points to create a bet. It's totally different than having 3 points of value to start with.
Educate, entertain. That last 60 minutes, 60 seconds, a lot of education. Hopefully you guys are all paying attention to that. Now, let me come back to you, AB, because we know how much you love your damn interception quarterback props. And you hit him more times than not. Mahomes tonight is plus 108. Herbert's minus 120. Is either one going to throw an interception tonight?
Herbert's the more attractive one to throw an interception because I think that you've got the opportunity. He's going to put the ball well more times in the air. Both of these quarterbacks are susceptible to throw an interception. It wouldn't surprise me if both of them have an interception. If you go back and look at their week 3 matchup, the Chiefs, the Chargers forced the Chiefs into 4 turnovers, all right, and turned those into 20 points. So pay attention to the turnovers tonight. Also, I'll say this, and what Mike was talking about in terms of both of these offenses playing team totals or play the over or the under in the game, not to make it simplified, but I think you can tonight, and you could use it on interceptions as well. Who you think is going to win the game probably correlates exactly how you're going to feel about this because the Chargers could force the Chiefs into playing much more quickly offensively than what they've been doing. So if they do that, Mahomes probably puts one in the air. If the Chiefs are dictating the offense and dictating the game and saying, look, we're going to go on 10, 11, 12 play drives and put up points, it's going to put way more pressure on Justin Herbert, and he probably puts one in the air for the other team. So I would say whoever you're leaning, and I'm not even talking about against the spread, I'm just talking straight up who you think wins this game and dictates, take the other guy, because if it comes out that way, that's probably what's going to happen.
All right, very good. You mentioned the air. See you, hang tight. I've got a boost I'm coming to you with, but I got to come to Alex first because the reason the Chiefs have been winning lately, we talk about the explosive offense. We talk about the points. It hasn't been that at all, has it? It's been running the football. So when you look at the numbers tonight, Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 57.5, but it's juiced pretty high. Darrell Williams over 14.5, juiced pretty high. Austin Eckler over 46.5, minus 104. Both have been running the football. Do you like any rushing props tonight?
I do. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire tonight. We've seen since he's returned from the injury, his involvement is actually he's had a pretty significant involvement. I was anticipating, I know Mike was too, kind of mixing in Darrell Williams, the mentor, a little bit more than the Chiefs have. Edwards-Helaire has been the guy. He's also top 60 yards in 2 of the 3 games that he has since come back in. Last week, they didn't really need him considering how quickly they went up in that game, and it was just completely non-competitive by the time it was in the second half. So yeah, also looking back to the first meeting between these two teams earlier in the season, Clyde Edwards had his best game of the season. I was also on his over that week as well. So yeah, I do like him quite a bit tonight. I like his rushing attempts prop, particularly. It's at 12.5. I like the over. I know we faded him, Mike and I, correctly, and it was very close either last week or the week prior. But yeah, I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 12.5 carries tonight. This Chargers team is the biggest run funnel in the NFL. They invite teams to run, both from a schematic standpoint and because teams can be very effective against it. They also play fast, which is something that I like as well. So I do anticipate the Chiefs having the ball a decent amount and being able to potentially win the time of possession battle. I do think there's a clear path as well to beating this team on the ground. So yeah, I'm bullish on Clyde Edwards-Helaire tonight. I would say that the prop, as far as rushing yards, it's moved from like 49.5 up to 57.5, where I don't think it has the amount of value. So I'm looking more at rushing attempts at 12.5, where I haven't projected a 15.
Okay, great analysis by you. Talk about value. See, let me come to you. There's a little odds, well, maybe not an odds boost, but it's plus 200 if both Mahomes and Herbert throw for over 280 passing yards.
I don't love it. I mean, I like the number you said. I think it was plus 200, right?
Plus 200, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but you know, the whole narrative we're kind of going with, and I think just from what I'm hearing, most everyone agrees here. The Chiefs are going to try to establish the run because it makes so much sense to do that against the Chargers. I just into Mike's point, I think there are going to be some longer sustained drives that might actually be occurring through the run. So while I think one of those guys might hit it, while I would lean towards Justin Herbert, I'm not so sure about Patrick Mahomes in this contest.
He's been very efficient. He's been very, very efficient, but he hasn't thrown for a ton of yards during the 6-game winning streak. So I like that answer. By the way, we have a really big audience watching right now. Thank you to all of you, but we're only over 400 likes. So here's where I don't like to be mean, but I do run the show. So if we don't get to, you know what? So we're over 400. We've got almost 900 watching right now. I need to get to, Mikey, what do you think? 600 or 700 to release the donkey tonight?
We'll do 600. I'm still feeling generous. It's going to hit, so we got to give it out for sure. So let's go ahead and do it, but do it quickly.
Okay, we got to get to 600 very, very quickly. Okay, so it is 3 minutes from the top of the hour, so it is that time. It is that time as we, I believe, have got to all the numbers, and I got to wait 3 more minutes. I've got to do it at the top of the hour. I got yelled at for doing it a little bit early. So let me, a couple more that I had my eye on today. We talked about the attempts. We talked about the completions. If we think it's going to be a running attack, let me come back to you, Mikey. Over 37.5 is the attempts for both quarterbacks. Their numbers are eerily similar, and the completions are 25.5. Same for both quarterbacks. Do we like either one of those unders if we think they're going to run the football?
I lean towards the under on both of them. Neither one of them is a strong enough play to, strong enough edge to actually play the under on it, but I would lean that way. I would lean that way, but I'm not playing the under on either one of them. The Mahomes under is the one that's closest to playable. The Herbert one, I think, is super fragile just because they do like to use Austin Eckler in the passing game a lot if he is active and healthy, which he's active. We'll see how healthy he really is. But that one, and they're, based on the game script we are kind of projecting, we're expecting them to at least have some sort of desperation, part in this game. So I would lean towards the under on the Mahomes one, but I don't feel great about it. And as crazy as it sounds, I might actually lean towards the under on the attempts and the over on the completions on the Mahomes one.
Oh,
I expect him to be just a little bit more, I'm not going to do it, but if you want to get cute, I would lean towards the under on the attempts, the over on the completions. I expect a lot more going to Travis Kelsey, a lot less throwing deeper down the field, which is going to lead to some increased efficiency just based on the way that I think this Chargers defense wants to defend them. We're going to see a little shorter depth of target. We're going to see some more over the middle. So higher completion percentage for Mahomes.
Last week, that's exactly the game script. I think he only missed 4 last week against the Raiders. He was very, very efficient. In the chat, I want to say a big welcome. Where'd he go? RX tuning into the live show for the very first time. Thanks so very much. And everybody, they'll take care of you, RX. Don't even worry about it. They'll take care of you. All right. It is that time. We are crossing the top of the hour. Game time in just 20 minutes. So we have two very important things to get to. We've got to get to 600 likes to do the donkey parlay. But right now, right here, right now, it is that time because you're looking at a screen that is full of gentlemen that are hanging in the club every primetime game. They go in, drinks are for free. They're popping bottles. They're doing everything without me. And without the jeweler. All four of these faces are in the club. But tonight is my night. But M Square, this is named for you. You were the first one. You're the godfather of the Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game pick. So as always, you get to go first. Who do you have tonight?
All right, so we're taking real long shot here. I'm going Noah Gray, one of the backup tight ends for the Kansas City Chiefs, plus 8,000 over on MGM. Has a touchdown on the season. He has several games with a target and a catch. Look, I think that they're going to invite the run a little more. Josh Gordon is not available. They had been using him a lot more in the red zone. Knowing that the Chargers are a little bit of a run funnel and we like to run the football with the two backs in the red zone, I expect to see a little bit more of the two tight ends, especially if they're going to be trying to shut down Tyreek a little deeper. I think he could be on the field, and I'm expecting a bigger workload for Kelsey. And when that happens, you often see drives, especially coming off of a big play, where Travis Kelsey will have to head to the sidelines for a play or two. But the value is simply too good here on MGM, especially at plus 8,000. I don't really think anyone in that Kansas City offense who's going to be on the field should be higher than 4,000.
You're going to be unbearable if this hits tonight.
I'm not unbearable already.
You're getting close. You're getting close, but I respect it because you're a savage, and I respect savages. All right, now we do have a two-time champ, and you talk about a low-key savage talker. This man can do it with the best of them. See ya. You're up next. What do you got?
So to go 3 in a row, I was really tempted to roll out Donald Parham again at 30-1. But I'm not going to do it because this guy, while the number's kind of short and not as fun, it's just too good. It's too good of a number. I'm taking Keenan Allen plus 1,000. He is an absolute target monster. Honestly, I think this should probably be like plus 800 or plus 750. But the point is, he only has 4 touchdowns on the season. I expect regression there. He is going to be open, especially with Snead out. I think this is a really good situation for Keenan Allen in general. And I expect him to get his 5th touchdown as the first touchdown in this game tonight.
Didn't he score twice 2 weeks ago against the Bengals?
So.
Yeah. Don't act like you don't know, Sia. You know everything. Don't act like you don't know he scored twice 2 weeks ago. You know exactly what you're doing. I don't buy that. Oh, what happened, Coach? All right. Not for a second. You're way too smart. Maybe. All right. Now, this man, he got in the club, a week and a half ago, and nobody has enjoyed it more. He's been taking the wife in, getting her out of the house. She's been happy with him. It's helped their marriage. Hey, we're givers. We're givers. Alex, what do you have tonight for potentially a second pass into the club?
Don't forget about the cats, Coach. The cats are in the club with me as well. We've got milk. We've got tuna. It's only the finest things for the felines. But, so I really like the Keenan Allen play. I just want to put that out there. I was my first choice, but I saw that the brilliant and powerful and the great Sia was on it, so I did back off to let him have his shine. So I'm going to pivot to Mike Williams, who I also thought was a decent value. I believe it's at plus 1,100 on MGM. He's a big-bodied receiver. He's also the deep threat. He gets a lot of fades close to the end zone. He's 6'4", big wingspan. So, I thought he was a decent value at over plus 1,000 odds as well.
I think that's great value. By the way, Dan says, I think I wore Sia's shirt for my 6th grade picture back in the day, but I can't even knock him. The guy's a damn stud. That is exactly how you write a backhanded compliment. That's a perfect way of doing it. All right. Now, this next man got into the club just a couple of days ago, and the term insufferable would be appropriate at this time. Dial up. What do you got tonight?
Yeah, Coach. As the most recent entrant into the club, I do feel that I need to point out Dan Herney in the chat said it best. AB hasn't left the club since Monday. We didn't even head out. We're just staying in because we're going back-to-back night. And I'm telling you, Jalen Guyton plus 1,700 is our guy. 7 targets the last 2 weeks for the Chargers, 7 receptions the last 2 weeks, 2 touchdowns. Our man's putting it in again. And you know what? Like I said, back-to-back.
We need 26 more likes, or we're not giving out the donkey tonight. Somebody, there's a lot of people that have hit that like, but we need 26 more to give out the donkey. By the way, true story. Germany, there's a club called AMPM. I've been to it at 5 a.m. until 9 a.m. back in the day. It exists, a 24-hour nightclub, and one of my best friends met his wife at 5 in the morning at said nightclub. It can happen. It can happen. All right, I'm going to go next. And tonight I feel like is my night. I distinctly remember hearing Mikey say last week that Pringle has been added. He's been a guy that the Chiefs have really put in there for McCole Hardman. And I believe tonight, deep in his soul, Patrick Mahomes, number 15, my quarterback, will say number 13. That is his number, right? Pringle? Yes. I believe I'm right. Will get the first touchdown of the game. That didn't go nearly as smoothly as it did in my head. I'm going to go Byron Pringle plus 1,300 to get my butt in the club. Jeweler, show your face. All right, big boy. What do you got tonight? Me and you are the only ones not in the club.
It's really painful. And, Coach, I don't know if you know this or not, but you don't have to go all the way to Germany for 24-hour clubs. As someone who spent formative years, not every night in Miami, there are establishments down there that I've heard of.
It's called Tuesday. It's called Tuesday down there.
It's very true. That's very
11, true. Whatever number you want to call it, just, go there. I'm going to take Jared Cook. We know he's dealing with the quad, but, we just need him to score a touchdown. This guy averages like 3 receptions a game, but he's got 4 TDs on the season at plus 1,800. I'll take Jared Cook because they just cleared him, but they wouldn't play him in this spot unless they thought there was some utility to it.
Okay. All right. Those are our 6 picks for the night. And I got to be honest with you. It kind of makes me feel a little bit full of confidence that now all I have to do is compete against the jeweler for the last ticket into the club, because there's nobody that
What's up?
RJ White, the top NFL mind at sports. What are you doing? You're not on this show.
Yeah, typically I don't go out on Thursdays, but Dial Up hit me up. He said, "Come out to the club." I said, "Hey, if I can cut in line, I'm in."
What? I told you guys were doing something behind my back. I just didn't know what it was. Now I know what it was. But hey, I'm a giver. I'm a man. Ask Mikey. I'll lose to the best of them. So as long as you're here, as long as you wanted to ruin my flow, RJ, would you care to participate tonight, sir?
Let's do it. Did anyone take Noah Gray?
Yes.
No,
Somebody took Noah Gray.
I'm not on Noah Gray. I heard that. I was like, oh my God. Good luck with that one. No, I'm on one of the 2 quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, plus 2,000. Chris Jones out for the Chiefs. The middle of the defense is going to be more vulnerable in short yardage. So I think that could help on quarterback sneaks. If you get a pass interference, you go down to the goal line, 1-yard line, and sneak one in there. Chiefs are giving up 4 touchdowns to quarterbacks, but none since Tannehill in week 7. I think the Jones move inside might be a factor in that. And Eckler is limited by his ankle issue. It may cause less play calls, running inside, risking aggravation, getting rolled up in the pile. You don't want to get that guy hurt. You need him for a hopeful playoff push. So sneak Herbert in there. Maybe put him outside, maybe a trick play and throw it to him. I mean, his last touchdown came in week 9, but the Chargers did run that trick play on the 2-pointer in that Bengals game where he caught a pass. So you throw another one of those out there, and maybe he's in there for the touchdown on the first play call, and the Chargers are rolling up 7-0.
I am sick to my stomach right now because I can already see how it's going to happen. I can already see that if he catches a touchdown in the first quarter, I will lose my mind. And by the way, RJ, I have PTSD from the glass breaking and Stone Cold beating me up so many times in my WWE career that now you're giving me PTSD for real. Now, RJ, I respect you. Normally, we're together on Tuesdays for the Mega NFL preview in your feed right here, live, right now. So I appreciate you. I respect you. You're not getting in the club tonight, pal. You're not getting in the club tonight. But thank you for taking the time to interrupt my flow. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on to try to get in this club that I heard everybody talking about, and I wanted to be a part of it.
He wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to be in the club. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the man, RJ White. You can catch him all over SportsLine. He is the man. He is all things NFL. And, of course, Tuesdays with me and Mikey on the Mega Preview. Thank you, RJ. Oh, have we got to 600? I mean, this can anything else happen that I don't know about? Are we to 600 likes? Did we get there?
We're good.
Did we get there? We're good. All right, so the game starts very, very soon. So, Mikey, the floor is yours. Give the donkey, and then we got to get the hell out of here. What do you got?
All right, 7 legs on the donkey tonight, starting with the Chiefs, plus 4.5 alternate spread. LA Chargers, plus 13.5 alternate spread. The over 43.5. Travis Kelsey, over 54.5 receiving yards. Byron Pringle, over 14.5 receiving yards. Keenan Allen, over 59.5 receiving yards. And Mike Williams, over 39.5 receiving yards. Put us together plus 575. You'll note on the Chiefs one, you can get that all the way up to plus 6.5 if you want. I like it, and the payoff and the odds here are a little bit better at plus 4.5.
Well, I like it. Soak it in. Let's leave it up there for a second. Soak it all in. You got plenty of time to get it in, and then we're going to have the jeweler switch to our best bet screen, and we're going to wrap things up. I like to end every single live show with letting my guys tell me what they're most looking forward to in just about 15 or 20 seconds. Alex, start us off.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in the club tonight, Coach, and saving you a seat and cheersing you when you get into the club when Byron Pringle catches the first touchdown of the game.
And that's why your heart is as big as your ponytails. All right, see ya. Talk to me.
I'm looking forward to – I think this is going to be a great Thursday night game. I'm really looking forward to seeing which of these two teams is going to come out on top and whether or not I have a showdown with Coach tonight.
Here's the thing, Sia. Are you going to force me to take the 3.5? Because everybody in the chat backs me because it's 3 everywhere.
Coach, survey says I'll use your number.
There we go. All right. If the 3's a number, jeweler, hit the music. It's gonna be a showdown. Hell yes, it is. It's going to be a showdown. Me and Sia one-on-one, face-to-face. Let's go. Mikey, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Travis Kelsey and seeing how he responds here. Hopefully a few big catches on the first drive, maybe a 30 to 40 yarder that gets us most of the way to the prop, leaves him winded on the sidelines as Noah Gray catches the first touchdown of the game.
You are a savage, an absolute savage. By the way, they're telling us in the chat we should split the difference, see, and go 3 1/4. It's not soccer betting. We can't do that. We can't do that.
Call.
All right, AB, bring us home.
Yep. Just a quick nugget for everybody. The Chiefs have never covered the spread against Justin Herbert. Never. I'm interested to see if they do it for the first time tonight.
And we will not end the show on that nugget. The Chiefs have won 6 in a row. They've held 3 straight opponents to 9 points, single digits. Tonight, the defense rises up. Byron Pringle scores the first touchdown, and me and Mikey are dancing all the way and all night into the club. That's what I'm most looking forward to. So with that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and you all know what that is. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself tonight because, damn it, we did. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets, not RJ White's, straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, AB, Prop Stars, Sia, M Squared, The Jeweler, and how about the special showing up from RJ White? Thank you to him for taking the time. I am the coach. Enjoy the game tonight. We're here every single morning at 10 a.m., and we're here most nights as well. Tell all your friends. We like to have a ton of fun, drop some knowledge, and cash some tickets. All right? Tell all your friends. It's the early edge. Good luck.